Hello everyone, so recently I've been experimenting with abilities and wondered, what is ability rotation? Ability rotation, in other words, is when using abilities on the action bar. Generally 4 basic abilities are used in a cycle between one another in order to build up adrenaline. The idea is to set up 4 basic abilities in an order that uses one while the other is on cooldown, and then switch between one another once they are off cooldown. Keep in mind that not all action bar rotations are limited to just 4 and can sometimes have 5 or more. Typically, a rotation between abilities used are ones that have a fast cooldown timer in conjunction with ones that have a slow cooldown timer. Not to mention, some abilities have longer attack animation than others, which can affect different ability rotations. There are many different setup ability rotations that can be made, and not all action bars are the same amongst players. Different action bar setups can be based on personal preference, so there is no right or wrong to having the best abilities. So what kind of setups can one expect to have? Well, since abilities require certain skill levels, I'll be listing from lowest to highest levels in basic abilities, as well as covering the 3 combat styles. Starting off first is melee basic abilities. Slice has no requirements and can be used with a 1 main hand, a dual wield, or a 2-handed melee weapon, and has a 3-second cooldown. Kick requires level 3 strength and has a 15-second cooldown shared with its backhand counterpart. Havoc requires level 5 attack and a dual wield melee weapon, has a 10-second cooldown. Punish requires level 8 strength and has a 3-second cooldown. Backhand requires level 10 attack and has a 15-second cooldown shared with its kick counterpart. Dismember requires level 14 strength and has a 15-second cooldown. Smash requires level 20 attack and a 2-handed melee weapon, has a 10-second cooldown. Fury requires level 24 strength and has a 5-second cooldown. The attack animation is 3 hits. Sever requires level 45 attack and has a 15-second cooldown. Cleave requires 48 strength and a 2-handed melee weapon, has a 10-second cooldown. And Decimate requires level 67 attack and a dual wield melee weapon, and has a 7-second cooldown. Next up is range basic abilities. Piercing Shot has no requirements and has a 3-second cooldown. Snipe requires level 5 range and has a 10-second cooldown. Animation takes 1.8 seconds to hit the target. Dazing Shot requires level 8 range and a 2-handed range weapon, has a 5-second cooldown. Binding Shot requires level 10 range and a 15-second cooldown. Needle Strike requires level 12 range and a dual wield range weapon, has a 5-second cooldown. Fragmentation Shot requires level 20 range and has a 15-second cooldown. And Ricochet requires level 45 range and has a 10-second cooldown. Last and finally is magic basic abilities. Rack has no requirement and has a 3-second cooldown. Dragon Breath requires level 5 magic and has a 10-second cooldown. Sonic Wave requires level 8 magic and a 2-handed magic weapon, has a 5-second cooldown. Impact requires level 10 magic and has a 15-second cooldown. Concentrated Blast requires level 12 magic and a dual wield magic weapon, has a 5-second cooldown. Combust requires level 20 magic and has a 15-second cooldown. Chain requires level 45 magic and has a 10-second cooldown. Now, with all the abilities listed comes the different possible combinations that can be made depending on the type of combat style used. For example, melee combat with any weapon that only has level requirements, there are 6 in total. The 6 abilities which require only skill level is Slice, Kick or Backhand, Punish, Dismember, Fury, and Sever. Technically, there are 7 abilities, however both Kick and Backhand share the same cooldown, so they cannot be used at the same time or one right after another in the same action, thus in a sense are the same abilities. So with 6 abilities in total, the number of possible combinations is 720, however 4 will be used on the action bar for the rotation, which means that there are 24 possible combinations per 4 abilities used on the action bar. To name a few possible combinations, let's use Slice, Kick, Punish, and Dismember. So the first one was Slice, Kick, Punish, and Dismember, or it can be Slice, Kick, Dismember, and Punish, or Slice, Dismember, Kick, and Punish, or Slice, Dismember, Punish, and Kick, or Slice, Punish, Kick, Dismember, and lastly is Slice, Punish, Dismember, and Kick. Just from those 4 mentioned, I listed about 6 out of the 24 possible combinations for 4 ability rotation. There are several different orders to arrange abilities, so I will not go over all of them, but ones that give a rotation setup. So previously, I mentioned that ability rotation uses 4 abilities in a cycle between one another when one is on cooldown, and in conjunction when one is off cooldown. Now the question is, what abilities have a rotation amongst each other? In the example I mentioned, I used Slice, Kick, Punish, and Dismember, but these 4 abilities do not rotate in a cycle with one another. If Slice and Punish is used together by itself, then the 2 can rotate between each other due to having a very short cooldown. If slice and punish is used alongside kick and dismember, then depending on the order, the abilities will be used in terms of whichever slot they're in, but due to the cooldown for kick and dismember, slice and punish will still rotate between one another while the other two are on cooldown. This is not a proper 4 ability rotation cycle, which is what the goal is to achieve. Now let's try out Fury, Sever, Cleave, and Smash for two-handed only. A possible combination can be Fury, Sever, Cleave, and Smash, or Sever, Fury, Cleave, Smash, or Sever, Cleave, Fury, Smash, or Sever, Cleave, Smash, Fury. In this example, notice how the cooldown timers for Fury, Sever, Cleave, and Smash is 5 second, 15 second, 10 second, and 10 second. However, because Fury has a longer attack animation, this gives enough time for the other abilities to cool down and be used in conjunction with one another even though they have longer cooldowns. But if Sever, Cleave, Smash, and Fury is used in a rotation, this cycle does not rotate amongst one another due to Fury being in the 4th slot and given the lowest priority, so the combination does not work. In short, the idea is to keep building up adrenaline without having to use auto attacks for each rotation to be used in a perfect cycle. Keep in mind that these rotations are used in order from the 1st slot on the action bar to the 4th slot, so from 1 to 4 and on revolution. So to list a few combinations I have tested out that rotate amongst each other for each combat style is dual wield melee. There's slice, sever, decimate, and fury, or fury, kick, sever, and dismember. For two-handed melee, there's sever, slice, smash, and fury, or fury, dismember, smash, and sever. For dual wield range, there's piercing shot, needle strike, snipe, and fragmentation shot, or binding shot, piercing shot, needle strike, and snipe. For two-handed range, there's piercing shot, dazing shot, snipe, and ricochet, or fragmentation shot, piercing shot, dazing shot, and snipe. For dual wield magic, there's rack, combust, impact, and concentrated blast, or concentrated blast, impact, combust, and fire breath. For two-handed magic, there's rack, sonic wave, fire breath, and chain, or sonic wave, rack, chain, and fire breath. So that concludes my analysis on ability rotation, and as always, thanks for watching and have an awesome day.